I'ma take you to the moon, to the moon.
What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Ricky Spanish, and I'm here to show y'all how to trade on BitUnix and or any futures spot trading platform for crypto. At that matter, they're all pretty much the same. They all function the same. Some have cheaper fees, some have more expensive fees. I use blofin and BitUnix. Blofin is a little bit more expensive as far as fees are concerned, but they both do what they're supposed to do. I personally like BitUnix a little bit better. It's a newer exchange. With that being said, let's get into it. So first off, you're going to want to make an account. Just go to the site. If you need to sign up, there will be a link in the description. And you can sign up for BitUnix or blofin. Doesn't matter. For real. I like BitUnix. It's just the UI. It's a few things, minor things that I like about BitUnix versus blofin. Well, before we get into futures, so when you create an account, these are no KYC exchanges, so you don't have to sign up with your with all of your credentials. You could just sign up using an email or a phone number. You will need the Google Authenticator app in order to, one, for security, and two, they won't let you withdraw until you have all of that figured out. So to do all that, you would just go to security. Like I said, you need the Google Authenticator app. I'm not going to link this to mine because this is just a dummy account for the video. What you would do is you would scan this QR code after you download the app, and it's self-explanatory. As soon as you scan the QR code, they'll give you a code. You enter the code, and then you'll be locked in. After that, then you can look at depositing. I go the long way about depositing. You can deposit pretty much anything. You have to be mindful though. Whatever you deposit, you need to be using that network to send and receive. So say you're using USDT and you want to send it on Ethereum network. You copy your address, paste the address in where you want to send your money to, from wherever you send it from, and yeah, it should arrive in your account within 10 to 15 minutes if you're using Ethereum, that is. Now you can use these other chains. I typically use Tron, and when I'm exchange from exchange to exchange, if I can. Coinbase won't let you, but we could talk about another method of depositing. Coinbase won't let you per se. Didn't mean to get off that page. So you would have to use the Ethereum network to send. But if you wanted to save on fees, because ETH gas fees are a bit pricey, you can use the Tron network or even the Solana network. That being said, for all intents and purposes, we're just going to use the Ethereum network, and then you would send the money to this address. If you were going to use, so typically what I do is I deposit Solana, Sol, and I use the Solana network because it's pretty fast and it's cheap. And it's not the only network that's cheap and fast. Like Tron is cheap and fast too, but I just buy Sol, send Sol from Coinbase because they'll let you send on the Sol network via Coinbase. And then when I get the Sol, I'll go to Spot. Look up the pair and just market order sell. And then I'll have money in my I'll have USDT in my Spot account, and then from there you can transfer your USDT Spot account into your futures account so you can trade futures. Let's talk about it. So this is Bitcoin futures. Typically I like to trade Bitcoin on BitUnix. One thing you have to do, okay, so now that we're on the futures, let's talk about how to trade. But before we get into how to trade, let's talk about things you need to go over first before you take your first trade. So when you first come into any exchange, typically they have your leverage turned all the way up to 20x. And if you are a beginner, then that's probably something that you need to change off the rip. Maybe go down to like 3x, at the max 5. But even then, that would be pushing it, especially if you don't know what you're doing. From there, so they have two different options, cross and isolated mode for margin. So cross basically just means if you use cross, so say you take a trade and you're using whatever amount of leverage and you're using isolated. So if you're using isolated, they will give you a liquidation level where if the price comes to the liquidation, then you'll be liquidated out of your position and you won't have to worry about it messing with your account. Now cross will not give you a liquidated point of control, let's call it that. And they will, when price comes to your liquidation, it will start pulling money out of your available balance that's on your futures account. So if you don't want to lose any money on your available balance and you don't know what you're doing, you need to come in here and turn on isolated. So you don't, at the minimum, if you get liquidated, you lose your position and you don't blow your whole entire account. This is crypto. You can blow your account fast, especially if you're using high leverage. From there, we have market limit orders. And limit orders just means we can set orders ahead of time, whether it be here. They won't let me set anything right now because I don't have any money on the account per se. But if we were to do a limit order, we would, come here and set a limit order for maybe to buy right here to go long. In order to do that, you would just put in your amount. You can change it from Bitcoin to USDT so you can see it a little bit better money wise and not read it in Bitcoin. And you could manually put it in, come over here and move the wheel, and then you would push open long, and that would place you a limit order wherever you set that limit order. Now market order just gets you in the order right then and there. And it costs a little bit more because it's a market order, but it's not too much off. And when you're looking for a trade, and sometimes you just don't have enough time to limit in, you just mark it in. And if I'm scalping, 9 times out of 10, I'm marking it in if I haven't, marked out a trade that I already am looking for. So that's the difference between limit and market order. You have trigger orders. It was basically limit orders. You really couldn't just avoid this altogether. I feel like I'm missing something. So if I had a position order, clearly it would be down here where the positions are. Open orders, order history, shows you everything that you need to know. When you take the trade, it'll show you your realized and unrealized P&L. That's one of the differences between blofin and BitUnix. Blofin doesn't show you your unrealized P&L. You have to literally go in to your position history or order history and see what your realized P&L is when you take the trade. And spot isn't any different from futures. It's literally the same. It just looks a little different. You have limit orders, you have market orders, but it just looks a little different. And spot just means you're buying and you will physically own the coin. Well, you don't physically own anything until you get it off the exchange, but you'll physically own the coin and you can move it around at your own will. But with spot, you can't trade leverage and it's only one direction, which is why we trade futures. So yeah, it's basically the same thing. You have a ton of coins you can choose from. Limit orders, market orders, it's all the same thing. So they have a bunch of different things on here you can do. Copy trading. I don't recommend copy trading. A lot of people do copy trading just to see if there's somebody else can give them gains, but you're better off just learning how to trade. And they got different rewards and referral things going on too. You can check that out on your own accord. But that just about sums it up. So we got futures. We trade futures. And if you want to open an order, open. You want to close an order, close. Typically when you take a trade, you won't have to go over here and push close. You can either close it on the chart or you can close it down here when you open up your position. And I think that's about it. With BitUnix, add money to your account and they will bump you up from VIP 0 to VIP 3, and that should make your fees a little bit cheaper. And the more you trade, of course, the more money you put on here. I think there are different tiers of VIP. I'm not 100% sure, so I cannot give you that information. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Don't get on here and put money on here and you don't know what you're doing. I will say, for new people, you should probably trade on blofin, only because blofin will let you paper trade, and you can paper trade on TradingView. It's a little bit more complicated versus just opening up an account on an actual exchange and just paper trading. Get familiar with the platform. Don't lose any money. It's tons of things that I've done just to lose money randomly, like getting into, so if you go to another coin, you got to be mindful that opening up another coin will change your leverage again. So you'll have to go in here and change your leverage every time you start a new coin, and make sure you take it off cross. Cross is for people that know what they're doing and know how to manage their risk accordingly. And if you're new, I'm just gonna assume that you are not managing risk because you've never had to manage risk on a futures exchange. I'm trying to think of some little knick-knack stuff. I can't think off the top of my head, but that's the gist of it. You can get in here and start trading as soon as you would like. Hedge mode. So hedging is basically, so if you're getting a long and you don't want to cut the long, you can take a short against your long and it won't close you out of your long. Some exchanges don't let you do that, and right now they don't let you do that. It's kind of old tech. But so if I got in the long down here and we got up here and say I was on the fence about taking profit because I wanted, and I was thinking that we would come up here and clear the highs, or take it higher, then I would just throw on a hedge short. That way I wouldn't lose any the money. Well, I will lose money in my long if we're going down, of course, because it's going down, but at least I would be making money in my short. And from there you can trade accordingly if you need to close your short or close your long and let your short run, depending on what's going on in the market. It's really just a safety feature more than anything, to help you protect your position if you are on the fence about closing your position. But 9 times out of 10, if you're on the fence about closing your position, then you probably need to close your position. Just saying. Other than that, order book flow, you can see people's trades. You can click on this and on people's sells or buys, and it'll automatically, if you're on a limit, it'll automatically put the price on the limits. A cheap, quick way to just get the price in here versus just copying it or writing it out. 9 times out of 10, if you're limit ordering, then you just put your own price in there. You don't have to do that, but it is something you could do. And I think that's it. Do not rush into any trades. Do not rush into throwing any money on any of these exchanges. Make sure the money that you are putting on these exchanges is money that you are willing to lose. With that being said, happy trading. Stay safe out there in them streets, and we'll holler at y'all later.